What is up? My name is Shane Butler and I'm the owner of Brutes Barbershop in Old Forge, Pennsylvania, and today I'm going to be doing my audition to be a Scumbassador. So today on Owen we're going to be doing a naturally parted haircut with combable sides. He has a little bit of buildup in his hair from stuff that he had in earlier, so I'm going to be using some of the spray tonic in my water bottle, just a little bit, and that kind of helps me break down what he's got going on in there. So as I'm making partings and going through, it's going to kind of hold it into place for me. We want to take his head shape into account. So when we're looking at it from the front, we want to see what the parietal ridge looks like in terms of where the hair is falling to. So we want to do more of a box up shape, kind of similar to like a grown out flat top. And also in the back, we want to look at where the occipital is laying. So when we're doing this guideline, we don't want to do any straight lines because the eye picks that up much quicker than a bend. So we're going to drop the bend down a little below the occipital bone, and we're going to do the entire blend boxed up. So we're going to start by cutting the first guideline in. We're going to pull the hair up, and my flat top comb is coming a little outward. We don't want to go into the head, we want this blend to be boxy. We're going to move it down underneath the occipital. So same thing on the other side. We're going to wet the hair down again and just start our parting from the natural corner. So when you start following the parting into the crown area, you kind of want to see the shape that his head wants to go with. So it could be either, triangular shape or rounded. And I'm always going to drop it a little bit. So it's going to look like a horseshoe if you're looking at it from the top. But this section, we're going to drop it down a little bit just to give me a little bit of freedom to make sure it's going to lay how I want it to. So again, we're just going to follow that guideline that we already started. So when we do our fade, we're going to go from the bottom up. That allows me to kind of set my guidelines according to what his hair and his head shape wants me to do. All right, so we're going to start at a 0. So my clipper is closed, and I'm going to start right at the top of the ear, but we're going to make a bend to cater to the head shape. So his parietal ridge comes out a little bit, so we want to keep it below that so we could blend up still boxy. So we're going to come down and around and drop it below that occipital. So I'm going to be doing the same exact step. I'm going to follow that guideline that I set in, and I'm going to go in with my clipper open, and we're going to fade down. I'm going to be doing the same thing, open clipper with the 0 on. We're going to go a little bit higher and close it as we fade back down. Again, same step, open with my 1 guard on. I'm going to blend this into where I did my clipper over comb to make that original guideline. So I'm going to flick a little bit so I have a little more wiggle room when I'm doing that blend. I'm going to start outlining the haircut. When you're outlining, I like to get the fine end of the comb and I comb all of the hair forward that's coming off of the hairline. So I pull it forward and I feed it into my outliner. You want to taper as much as you can while still making it look natural, but it's going to set them up for the haircut to grow in a little bit nicer. So I'm going to wet the hair down around the perimeter, and I'm just going to clipper over comb where I left that weight into where I did the fade. So I have the sides blended how I want it. So I'm going to take out the long hair and I'm going to start scissor cutting that. When we're cutting it, we want to leave the front a little bit longer and we want to kind of angle it into the back. Right now, I'm going to make sure that the long hair on the top blends into the crown. So you can see my first guide and my second guide. So we're going to connect that. So we just got done tying the top into the sides. So I want to start blow drying it. I'm going to put in the grooming tonic, as we all probably know at this point. Again, it helps break up whatever is in the hair and it makes the hair just a little bit stickier, but it's also forgiving. So as I go through and I blow dry, it's not going to hinder me. It also helps with giving it a lot of lift. Another thing that I'm going to be putting in is a little bit of the Reuzel grooming cream. Not a lot, just a little bit. The grooming cream mixed with the grooming tonic, it's one of my favorite combinations before I'm about to blow dry. Again, this will just give me a little more control and it'll kind of let me shape the hair how I want it before I start putting the pomade in. So when I go in and I blow dry, I want to use my fingers first, and I just want to get everything through the hair, scalp to ends, just to make sure it's completely through. Then I'm gonna go through with my vent brush and give it like a little bit of lift and break up the product, and then I'll go through with my Denman brush and kind of shape it up a little bit. So I'm gonna style this with the Reuzel Pink. It's a grease-based and it's incredibly forgiving when you're styling the hair. It gives it that nice shine, and it's also just easy to work with. It's a little hard to wash out of your hair given that it's a grease base. So I'm gonna go in with just a little bit of the blue pomade first. I'm doing this because it's a water-soluble pomade, so I just want to coat the hair strand with a little bit of the blue first, and then I'm going to go in with the pink, and it just kind of helps break it up a little bit, and it's a really good combination. And again, I'm not going to saturate the entire head here. I'm just going to kind of work the top of the haircut. So when I put the pink in, there's already a little bit of control and shine here. And by coating this, it's gonna come out a lot easier because the grease base can be a little difficult to get out. And when you're getting it, make sure you work out whatever is in the palms. You don't wanna make a bigger goop in just one spot of the hair. You wanna make sure the crown is laying accordingly, and you don't wanna worry about styling the front until the very end. Because if you go through and try to style the front at the beginning, you're gonna mess it all up when you start going into the back areas. I did the haircut, so I'm gonna go in and do the beard trim. He wants to keep as much of the shape as we can, as full as we can. So I'm just gonna pull the hair out with my pick, comb it all outward, and I'm gonna shape it into as much of that as I can keep. So to finish this haircut, I'm gonna be doing a neck shave, and I'm going to be using the Reuzel aftershave. Oh my God, it smells wonderful. So this is my naturally parted pompadour with combable sides. Again, I use the grooming tonic and the grooming cream to help me blow dry the hair into a nice shape. I use a little bit of the blue pomade as a coating because it's a water-based pomade, and I put the pink over that. I like the pink for the, it's really easy to work with throughout the day, but it's grease-based, so the blue's just gonna help wash that out a little bit easier for him. Again, thank you for watching, and thank you for considering me.
I think we're good.
Thanks, bud. Thanks, Owen.